The year is 1802. Barely a generation removed from revolution, the United States is a fledgling nation, its future uncertain. The echoes of musket fire at Lexington and Concord still resonate, a stark reminder of the struggle for independence. Between 1802 and 1827, the young republic will face defining moments that shape the United States into the country it is today. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson stood at a crossroads. The young nation he led was growing rapidly, and its citizens were eager for new opportunities. The vast, uncharted lands to the west beckoned with the promise of prosperity and expansion. The fledgling nation, hungry for land and opportunity, looked westward. Settlers dreamed of fertile fields and new beginnings, while the government saw a chance to strengthen the country's position on the global stage. There lay the vast territory of Louisiana, controlled by France and its ambitious leader Napoleon Bonaparte. This immense region stretched from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, encompassing what would become 15 future states. Jefferson, a staunch believer in agrarian democracy, envisioned a nation of independent farmers. He believed that the strength of the United States lay in its ability to cultivate the land and sustain itself through agriculture. The Louisiana Territory, with its promise of boundless fertile land, represented both an opportunity and a dilemma. The potential for growth was enormous, but the acquisition of such a vast expanse raised numerous questions and challenges. The Constitution offered no clear guidance on the acquisition of foreign territory. This ambiguity left Jefferson and his advisors in uncharted legal waters, unsure of the proper course of action. Yet the potential benefits were too great to ignore. The promise of new land for farming, trade, and settlement was a powerful motivator for a nation eager to expand its horizons. Negotiations with France were fraught with tension. The stakes were high and both sides had much to gain or lose from the outcome of these discussions. Napoleon, embroiled in European wars, saw an opportunity to bolster his coffers. The sale of the Louisiana Territory would provide much-needed funds for his military campaigns, making the deal attractive despite his initial reluctance. The agreed-upon price, $15 million, more than doubled the size of the United States. This monumental transaction was a bold move that would shape the future of the nation in ways Jefferson could only begin to imagine. The Louisiana Purchase was a gamble, a leap of faith into the unknown. It represented a significant risk, but also an unparalleled opportunity for growth and expansion. With a stroke of a pen, the United States expanded its borders westward. This single act set the stage for the nation's westward expansion and the fulfillment of its manifest destiny. The Louisiana Purchase fueled westward expansion and ignited the spirit of manifest destiny. Pioneers and settlers embarked on journeys into the unknown, driven by the promise of new opportunities and the dream of a better life. But this expansion came at a cost, laying bare the contentious issue of slavery. As new territories were incorporated into the Union, the debate over the extension of slavery into these regions intensified, sowing the seeds of future conflict. The Louisiana Purchase remains a pivotal moment in the nation's history. It was a bold and transformative decision that reshaped the United States, setting it on a path toward becoming a continental power. With the stroke of a pen, the Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the young nation, but much of this newly acquired territory remained a mystery. To explore this unknown expanse, President Jefferson commissioned an expedition led by Meriwether Lewis and William Clark. Their mission to chart the course of the Missouri River and document the land, its people, and its resources. In the spring of 1804, the Corps of Discovery set out from St. Louis, Missouri. Their journey would take them up the Missouri River, across the Rocky Mountains, and to the Pacific Ocean. The expedition was fraught with danger and hardship. Raging rapids, unforgiving weather, and encounters with Native American tribes tested the explorers. Yet Lewis and Clark persevered, driven by a thirst for discovery. They meticulously documented the flora and fauna they encountered. The journals kept by Lewis and Clark provide an invaluable record of the American West. The Lewis and Clark expedition was a testament to the American spirit of adventure and resilience. Chapter 3. The War of 1812, a Nation Tested. The War of 1812, often referred to as the Second War of Independence, was a pivotal moment in the early history of the United States. This conflict, which lasted from June 1812 to February 1815, saw the young American nation once again pitted against Great Britain. the world's foremost military power at the time. It was a conflict born out of frustration, a clash between a young nation and an aging empire. The war tested the resilience and determination of the American people, who were eager to assert their independence and protect their rights on the global stage. The causes of the war were complex. Tensions had been simmering for years, fueled by issues such as trade restrictions imposed by Britain, the impressment of American sailors, and British support for Native American tribes resisting American expansion. The British, locked in a struggle with Napoleon's France, had adopted a policy of impressment, forcibly conscripting American sailors. This practice was seen as a direct affront to American sovereignty and an insult to national pride. The United States, its merchant ships harassed and its citizens seized, chafed under these violations of its sovereignty. American merchants and sailors found themselves caught in the crossfire of a global conflict, their livelihoods and freedoms threatened. Adding fuel to the fire, the British supported Native American tribes in the Northwest Territory. These tribes, seeking to halt American expansion into their lands, found an ally in Britain, further straining relations between the two nations. In June of 1812, the United States declared war on Great Britain. This bold move was met with mixed reactions at home, with some Americans eager to defend their nation's honor, while others feared the consequences of challenging such a formidable foe. The conflict was marked by both humiliating defeats and stunning victories. American forces faced numerous challenges, including poorly trained militias and a lack of resources, but they also demonstrated remarkable resilience and ingenuity. The British captured and burned Washington, D.C., sending shockwaves through the nation. The sight of the Capitol in flames was a sobering reminder of the war's stakes and the vulnerability of the young republic. However, the United States Navy achieved a series of unexpected victories on the Great Lakes and the high seas. Commanders like Isaac Hull and Oliver Hazard Perry became national heroes, their successes boosting American morale and proving that the fledgling Navy could hold its own against the British. In December of 1814, the Treaty of Ghent was signed, officially ending the war. The treaty essentially restored relations between the two nations to their pre-war status, with no significant territorial changes. The War of 1812 solidified American independence and fostered a sense of national unity. It proved that the United States could stand up to a major world power and emerge with its sovereignty intact, setting the stage for the nation's future growth and development. Chapter 4: The Missouri Compromise, A Nation Divided. In 1819, the nation once again found itself teetering on the precipice of crisis. The young United States, still finding its footing, was grappling with a contentious issue that threatened to tear it apart. The issue at hand was the expansion of slavery into the Western territories. As new lands were acquired and settled, the question of whether these territories would permit slavery became a flashpoint for conflict. Missouri, carved out of the vast Louisiana Purchase, had applied for statehood. This application set off a firestorm of debate and controversy. Its admission would upset the delicate balance of power between free and slave states in the Union. The Senate, evenly divided between free and slave states, faced a potential shift in power dynamics. The debate in Congress was fierce and passionate. Lawmakers from both sides of the issue engaged in heated arguments, each side fearing the consequences of the other's victory. Northern states opposed to slavery argued vehemently against its expansion. They saw the spread of slavery as a moral and political blight that needed to be contained. Southern states, on the other hand, viewed any attempt to restrict its spread as an existential threat. They believed that their economic and social systems depended on the institution of slavery. The Missouri Compromise, brokered by Henry Clay, sought a temporary solution. Clay, known as the Great Compromiser, worked tirelessly to find a middle ground that would appease both sides. Missouri would be admitted as a slave state, and Maine, previously part of Massachusetts, would be admitted as a free state. This arrangement preserved the balance in the Senate, with an equal number of free and slave states. The compromise also drew an imaginary line across the Western territories, with slavery prohibited north of the 36 degrees, 30 minutes parallel. This line was intended to serve as a clear boundary for future state admissions. The Missouri Compromise highlighted the growing sectionalism dividing the nation. It underscored the deepening rift between the North and South, a rift that would only widen in the coming decades. It served as a stark reminder of the fragility of national unity in the face of the divisive issue of slavery. The compromise was a temporary measure, a band-aid on a wound that would continue to fester, leading ultimately to the Civil War. Chapter 5. The Erie Canal, a nation transformed. In the early 19th century, the vast interior of the United States remained largely isolated. Transportation was slow, arduous, and costly, hindering trade and economic development. The completion of the Erie Canal in 1825 revolutionized transportation and connected the East Coast to the heartland of America. The Erie Canal stretched for 363 miles across New York State, connecting the Great Lakes to the Hudson River. Thousands of laborers, many of them Irish immigrants, toiled for years to complete this ambitious project. The impact of the Erie Canal was immediate and profound. Goods and people could now move between the East Coast and the Great Lakes region in a fraction of the time and cost. The canal spurred economic growth and facilitated the transportation of agricultural products and manufactured goods. The Erie Canal, a symbol of American ingenuity and progress, transformed the nation. It connected its disparate regions, fueling economic growth and shaping its destiny as a continental power. The years between 1802 and 1827 were a time of immense change and upheaval for the young United States. The nation grappled with its identity, its ambitions, and its internal divisions. From the Louisiana Purchase to the War of 1812 to the Missouri Compromise, the United States navigated a treacherous path. The completion of the Erie Canal ushered in a new era of economic expansion and interconnectedness. These defining moments shaped the nation's destiny, setting the stage for its rise to global prominence. But the story of America is an unfinished one. By understanding the past, we gain a deeper appreciation for the present and a clearer vision for the future. If you enjoyed this journey through a pivotal period in American history, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more captivating explorations of the past.